My name is Ruth Orta, and I am a indigenous native from this part of the world. They called us the Indians. We're not from India. I was born in Newark, California, which is, if you blinked when I was born, you missed the town. But I'm going to tell you the way I know who I am. My mom was first generation with non-native blood. My mother was born in 1902 in Pleasanton, California, which is in Alameda County, is where Newark is in Alameda County, and where we are. All this used to be native land. We didn't have counties and names of little towns. My dad was white. He was Irish and Scotch, and his people were from the old country in England, wherever they came from, Scotland, whatever. But he died in 1939 when I was 5. I'm the second generation with native blood in my body. People do not know that, but I let everybody know when I talk to them. I wished I could have been a teacher, but we didn't have money. We didn't have land. We were poor people. We worked in all the fields and picking fruit and vegetables and doing all the picking of all the fruits that grow on a tree, picking the acorns for the food that they ate. And we didn't learn this. I was 50 years old when I started to learn about my people. My mom knew who she was. My mom was raised in an orphanage, Mission San Jose, California, run by the Dominican sisters who are still there. And my mother was put in there when she was a little girl. She got out in 1914. She was 12 years old, and her brother was shipped to the Albertinium school. He was 2 years older than mom. He got out, and when my mom got out in 1914, they were 12 and 14 years old. And so they went to take care of themselves. This is where my beginning started. My mom never knew her language. The language she spoke was Spanish. The conquering people would not allow my grandmother. My mom was half native. She was a first generation with non-native, and her father was a red-headed Spaniard, and this is exactly how she described him. She was 8 years old when he died. She was about five years old or 4 years old when her mom died. She never knew her language. She knew stories about the people, but they weren't able, they all spoke Spanish. And when the natives that I knew in my old age group that I started to learn from Bev Ortiz introduced us to a lot of natives on the coast of California. And I talked to a lot of the elders that are gone already. And they said when they went to school, their mom always told them, do not tell anyone you're Indian. You say you're Mexican. When Mexicans took over California, all those people that they said were Mexicans, sorry, they were native people, indigenous natives who lied to save their life and not be killed or forced into boarding schools and stuff like that. So this is what people do not know about our people. How could we have learned? We weren't even considered natives of this part of the world. The conquering of this part of the world, we don't have our language. We're learning something that was similar to our language, because for somebody to tell me that they know what my ancestors spoke, I'll tell them, were you there when my ancestors were here? No, neither was I. And we don't know what it is. So whatever of the things that they call us today, that's interpreted by the conquering people and the people that own the land now. What I learned throughout my years since I was born in Newark, I learned from my mother. She always told us, we are a native people from this part of the world, just like they have natives in this house. She explained it to us. She would tell us that her mother was the native from here. She didn't have no other blood from another nationality, but my mom did. They were the first generation with a Spanish blood. My grandfather was a red-headed Spaniard, and I found his death certificate in the records department in San Jose when I was doing research on our family. The court system, where they have all the records and all that, they did not record natives at all. They used to put us white for being born, or Mexican, and record that. So Mom always told us that part of me. I am very, very proud because my people were good people. They took a lot of crap from the government, and the government does not respect us. They did not recognize the native people from California until 1924. My mom was 22 years old, but she always told us, you be proud of that, and you never, ever deny that you're native, and say it. I learned about the oaks when I was 50 years old. I knew the oak tree was beautiful, and the acorns fell on the ground, but we didn't know that that was one of the staples that our people used every single day. I didn't learn that until I was 50. My mom was already gone. She died in 1986 when she was 84. We didn't know that they ate acorn and they pounded it. It was part of their staple. We didn't know any of that. We did eat Mexican food because my mom learned a lot of that. She was a cook, a caretaker, and a housekeeper for all the rich people in this part of the world, which is Alameda County. And so that's how she survived. And her brother worked for all the farmers, because that's all it was here, was farmers and people that worked in the fields. But she knew about the acorns and all that. I didn't know that she knew that Native people used all the for their food before, them, that they had to do the Spanish style cooking and all that stuff. As far as a tree, she liked the oak trees because they were big and shady, but her favorite tree was the weeping willow and the pepper tree. The pepper tree is the one that gives all the red. So that had a connection. My mother was connected to her native blood, though, in her ways, because she was totally a native. Very proud of who she was. And I want everybody to know that we're still here and we're not leaving at all. Like when we used to go on our little picnics to Niles Canyon. Mom always gathered us up on the weekend. My stepdad used to take my mom and all of us kids. We were his kids. And so we would go on picnics to Niles Canyon, make a little fire. Mom knew how to put the little pit down and cook her stuff. And that's how we did it to have our special day every week. And this was in the summer and the springtime when we used to go to Niles Canyon. Beautiful. There was no dirt, junk, nothing coming down. Even Mom to fish in the creeks. We used to see the fish was clear like glass. It was all clear water because they used to leave the water out from the dams, I guess, from the snow and stuff. And the salmon were huge. And the regular fish that you used to get, it was clean. There was no dirt. And when we used to go and have our little picnics, Mom always made sure we picked up all the stuff on the ground. The old timers were really good garbage collectors to clean everything. To change your way of living and thinking, and I think that's going to be mighty hard. And I want to tell everybody from this native how I think. It's sad for me to see that children do not have that connection with grandparents, parents, to speak. They have all those little things, this stuff, that's what babysitting and everything. We didn't do that. We used to teach our kids how to read and write and help with their homework. I did in my lifetime, and I worked. And my mom did it with all of us, and she was one smart lady. The kids don't even, if all this crashes, how are they going to eat? Want one of these? I don't think so. Mom she never let any of us. And she says, and I want to leave everybody with this way that I live. She told me, never let anybody look down at you, put you down, call you names, none of that. She says, but you do not turn around and disrespect them. That's the way I was raised. We loved all people.